This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Pieces of me, they run around in your head, they live rent-free. There's nothing you can do about it, and I feel no pain, and I feel no shame. It's kinda cute, goddamn, you're so in love with me. I've been caught up in nothing, I'm ready to go. Been a while since you smiled, I'm taking it slow. And all those words you said, they're just inside my head. 25, I'm alive and I'm ready to go.
Following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, I think we know this. I think that we know that it does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today, just in case you did not know, this is Thursday, January the 29th of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Oh, yes, that's kind of what we do around here. We do the stuff. We kind of make some stuff up as we go from that particular point. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So don't worry as we are hanging out and doing our thingo. No, seriously, as we are doing it, you never know what's going to happen next. That is for sure as we are talking. So how have you been? How's the last 24 hours been for you or so? Because, you know, that's always an important thing. If you don't think about it that way, I mean, I don't know what else you would deem as important, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is, right? Isn't that how the saying goes? So there you go. It is what it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. To me, that one doesn't make sense. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Let's talk real quick because it is so crazy in the world that we're in right now. I mean, that's just not lie about things and say that it's something that it's not, because I think we would be liars among ourselves here in regards to that. So let me tell you how we do our show. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just really how our world works here. I will bring in some professional broadcasters. They'll tell me exactly what's going on from their version or point of view as they kind of bring out the whole thing. That's kind of the cool part about the whole thing is they give their point of view of what is going on. I come in and give you a versionality of what I'm seeing based on reports and all that kind of stuff. So don't worry about that stuff. We'll make sure to take care of you with that. And then if you want to have any interaction with the show, it's simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options. So that's kind of an easy thing. I mean, you click on it and it gives me a little prompt over here on the screen. Then I kind of know which direction we need to start leaning. That's kind of the way that it goes there. A lot of people complain that I don't reference exactly when they've contacted, but I don't know. I didn't didn't realize that was an important aspect of the things that are going on. So if it is, I apologize. I will try to do better. I mean, better. That's what I meant. Better. Something along those lines. So if you're good, I think I'm good. We're going to talk real quick to our friends at Feature Story News, as they're going to tell us everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of part of what they do as their gig. So if you're good with it, I'm good with it, and we'll start getting into the news right at this particular moment.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
From Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Ross Cullen. European Union foreign ministers are meeting in Brussels on Thursday to discuss Iran, Ukraine and the Middle East. EU states are set to agree to list Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organisation after France dropped its opposition to the move. It comes as the US President Donald Trump warns Iran that time is running out for the country to sign a nuclear deal. The US military is building up its capacity in the Gulf ahead of possible military strikes on Tehran. William Denslow reports from Brussels.
The Dutch foreign minister says the deadly crackdown in Iran had crossed a big line for member states. And ahead of Thursday's meeting of foreign ministers here in Brussels, the EU's top diplomat Kaja Kallas said that if you act like a terrorist, you'll be treated like a terrorist. France and Italy had previously opposed the move to add the Islamic Revolutionary Guard to the terrorist list, citing fears of reprisals and the narrowing of diplomatic channels. But that position has seemingly softened. France's foreign minister says that action is now essential to combat the impunity of the perpetrators of this bloody repression. William Denslow, Brussels.
The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says the UK and China can build a more sophisticated relationship. The UK leader has been meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing on the first visit to the country by a UK Prime Minister since 2018. President Xi says engagement is unavoidable as a series of business deals are set to be confirmed. Keir Starmer says better ties can benefit both countries.
Our trading relationships support hundreds of thousands of jobs in each other's countries and have gone on for a very, very long history, where we can identify opportunities to collaborate, but of course also allow a meaningful dialogue on areas where we disagree.
Hamas says it's ready to hand power to the new Palestinian technocratic committee that's meant to take over Gaza's daily affairs in the second phase of the peace plan. But Israeli officials say they do not believe the group will fully surrender control. Blake Sifton has this from Tel Aviv.
A Hamas spokesperson said the group will carry out a transfer of governance in the Gaza Strip across all sectors to the technocratic committee. An Israeli official briefing the media said Israel's security establishment believes Hamas will soon relinquish authority to the committee, but will retain de facto control of Gaza. The group has tens of thousands of armed members and civil servants in key roles in Gaza's ministries that will need to be replaced by the technocratic committee. Committee members are waiting for Israel to reopen the Rafah crossing with Egypt so they can enter Gaza and begin managing the Strip's daily affairs. Blake Sifton, Tel Aviv.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail today at what might happen if President Trump goes ahead with his threatened military strikes on Iran. The US leader said on Wednesday time is running out to avert them, but it was only 2 weeks ago that America's allies urged President Trump not to involve himself as protests were roiling Iran, arguing US military action would be catastrophic for the region. Dr. Arash Azizi is a writer and historian and author of What Iranians Want: Women, Life and Freedom. He says the military option for America is not risk-free.
Iran is able to hit back. Now, it hasn't, done much hitting back in the past. Ayatollah Khamenei, who's the supreme leader of Iran, is a bit of a coward, frankly, and he talks more than he walks. So effectively, he's allowed this situation to happen. The other point is that, yes, Iran does have a lot of capabilities to hit back, but its capabilities dwarfs next to those of Israel and the US still. If US and Israel want to bring real hurt to Iran, they can, but at the same time, regime might decide to fight the last fight. And frankly, in some ways, it would be to its benefit and not to the benefit of Trump, and actually not to the benefit of Israel in some way, if we have some sort of prolonged war. So it's not an easy and shut case for Trump.
President Trump says he wants Iran to negotiate now and strike a deal, but what the contours of any agreement might look like remains opaque. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And the top stories once more. The European Union is set to agree to list Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organisation. It comes as the US President Donald Trump warns Iran that time is running out for the country to sign a nuclear deal or face possible military strikes. And during his trip to Beijing, the British Prime Minister says the United Kingdom and China can build a more sophisticated relationship. That's the latest feature story news. Ross Cullen reporting from Paris.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore. And neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns, and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, you're listening to some shit, that's for sure, going on. Anyways, currently 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Where did the week go, man? Kind of feel like this one flew through in regards of everything that was going on. Anyway, so let's get into some of the stuff that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what we do here. I mean, that's kind of what we talk about. So, I'm going to give you two stories. They're going to start off with odd stories right away, but that's kind of the way that we're going to do it today. A Florida pastor is catching serious heat after a viral clip showed him urging churchgoers to cough up $10,000 in just 90 seconds with a promise that God would turn one of them into a multimillionaire. Dr. Todd Hall, also known as Praiselogist, made the pitch during an ADR profit conference, framing the donation as a fast-track miracle investment, complete with a giant sow your seed QR code, dramatic staging, and performing hanging from wires. The moment looked more like a high-pressure infomercial than a Sunday service. Critics say that the tactics are manipulative and predatory, accusing Hall, who also runs multiple businesses, as exploiting faith with urgency, spectacle, and promises of divine wealth. The incident has reignited backlash against prosperity gospel, where miracles apparently accept Visa, MasterCard, and a versionality of Apple Pay. I'm just telling you what's going on. So God works in mysterious ways, apparently on a 90-second countdown clock. Also, nothing says faith like a QR code and a wire harness. It's not a sermon, it's a spiritual flash sale. When heaven starts sounding like late night crypto ad, you know you got a problem. And prosperity gospel is now the same day shipping. God's will powered by Venmo and multi-millionaire dreams limited to time offer. So there you go. So there's one where you're going to get fast tracked to be a multi-millionaire by donating $10,000, according to what Dr. Todd Hall says. Now, my question becomes this. Was it Piper Rockwell that donated the 10 grand? Why do you say that? Well, here's the thing. Piper says that OnlyFans pulled in $3 million in less than 24 hours, and she had zero regrets. So I'm just trying to figure out if these coincide with each other. When they were sent to me, they were back to back to each other. So I was kind of thought the timing was kind of weird. So speaking on TMZ Live, the newly 18-year-old influencer explained that she jumped on an OF the second she hit adulthood and said she waited a few months. Thought through it and officially launched on January the 1st, calling it one of the hardest decisions she's ever made. Piper says that the move is about back control, taking back control. See how words are important. After growing up under a nonstop public scrutiny as a child influencer. Yes, the money is massive, she admits that, but she insists that it isn't the forever plans. She's single, future focused, and determined to live life on her own terms. As for what the kind of content fans are paying for, she teased answers but kept details locked behind paywall. No spoilers, no freebies. So $3 million in 24 hours. Even the bank said, wait, what? So there you go. Also, that's not an OnlyFans launch. That's an IPO. Childhood fame walked so adult money could sprint. $3 million in a day. Even Monopoly needs a nap after that one. She says it's not forever, just long enough to buy forever. And when thinking it over, turns out that 7 figures overnight. That's not a glow up. That's a tax bracket change. January the 1st, revolutions. January 1st resolutions become millionaire by January 2nd. I mean, that's a gig, I guess, when you start thinking about it. And then what else? What else do we got? Some people ease into adulthood. She cannonballed it into wealth. I got a clip, but I don't know if it's too long. Let's take a listen.
You launched January 1st.
Yeah.
So who exactly were the people paying the $3 million? Are they people who followed you as...
A total of $3 million. No one paid.
Are they people who followed you as a kid? Are they adults who were just kind of pining for you to turn 18? Exactly who is the audience?
You know, that's a great question. I don't really try to think about that too much because I think at the end of the day, I'm just here to show people more love and support. And I know who I am and I know that I'm a good person. And
I think we know where this interview is going. So let's just continue moving forward. It's about 2 minutes long. I don't think we have that kind of time. We got the gist of it. So don't know if her and Todd Hall had anything to do with each other. And you know that I'm just kind of tying those two things together. They have nothing to do with each other more than likely as we are talking. Okay, so let's stay with some WTF moments, if you don't mind. And it's not what exactly you think. It's welcome to Florida. WTF, welcome to Florida. Florida man Kerwin Lee Anderson, 40, was sentenced to 4 years in prison after jumping shirtless through a Taco Bell drive-thru window and robbing workers and customers while wielding a large rock. Police say that he chased everyone out, grabbed what he could, and bolted, only to be tracked down minutes later by the canine who found him hiding behind the dumpster. Panicking and surrendering, Anderson told cops that he was homeless and needed money to really lock in the Florida resume. He then got into a fight with another inmate just hours after being in jail. Charges of armed robbery and a battery. So Taco Bell said Liv Moss, Florida man, heard commit felonies. Shirtless robbery with a rock is basically Florida State uniform. Also, Taco Bell drive-thrus now accepting cash cards and geological threats. This is why Taco Bell asks, will that be all? The only crunch wrap here is the criminal strategy. And let's see, 4 years in prison for inventing rock-based currency. And what else do we got? What else do we have around here? Taco Bell employees trained for late night, not Stone Age robberies. So there you go. There you go.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I know, they go all over the place when we start talking about some of this stuff. I mean, let's just not lie here. Exactly what happens most of the time. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Okay, so I'm going to read this one because this was sent in. And so I'll read it, and then we can kind of go on. So if you want to follow up with this, callinradio.com, okay? Callinradio.com. That will be the easiest way to do this. So take a listen. It says, hi, guys. I know I'm probably going to sound like that wife, but I need to say this out loud because Super Bowl Sunday is coming, and I'm already feeling annoyed. I'm not dreading the game. I'm dreading what turns my husband into. Every year, it's the same routine. His friends come over hours early. The living room becomes a sports bar. I disappear into my own house. Yeah, suddenly I'm unpaid bartender, referee, cleanup crew, while grown men yell at the TV like the players can hear them. He swears it's just one day, but it never is just one day. Then it's betting talk, the screaming, the drinks, the ignoring me like I'm furniture. Last year, he didn't even notice that I left the room for 2 hours. When I brought it up, he laughed and said, oh, it's the Super Bowl. That's the part that gets me. Like the Super Bowl is some magical excuse to check out of your marriage. I don't want to be a buzzkill. I don't want to be a nag, but I also don't want to spend another Sunday feeling invisible in my own home while everyone else has a blast. So here's my question. Am I being dramatic, Or is it fair to expect your partner to still act like a partner, even on Super Bowl Sunday? Kimberly, that's her name. P.S. Before anyone says, just leave the house, why should I be the one to have to leave my house? So there you go. That's a good question coming in from Kimberly from Little Rock. So there you go. What do you think? Seriously, what do you think? It's an interesting one. I mean, I have never been a counselor for relationships. I'm definitely not I am not your go-to person. I can tell you that. But it's an interesting question. And maybe segregate yourself or from one section. I don't know. I'm a terrible person to ask, but you know who will know? The people that are listening to this thing. So callinradio.com, go there, let us know what you think about Kimberly's story, and we'll go from there. I mean, I have no clue on even how to respond partially to that. It's just one of those things. I mean, when we start getting into the football game stuff, I kind of go, what? I have no idea what to do. Okay, so let's get into some serious stuff, I think. No, seriously.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the man accused of spraying Congresswoman Omar with a mystery liquid at Minneapolis Town Hall has allegedly tipped his hand beforehand. Okay, Anthony Kosmeskic, 55, texted their neighbor saying that he was going to this Omar thing and warned that he might get arrested, even asking his neighbors to watch the dog. The neighbor thought it was just dog until it wasn't. Anthony was arrested and charged with third-degree assault after allegedly rushing the stage and squirting a brown vinegar-like smelling liquid at Omar using a syringe. Right after she called for ICE to be abolished and demanded Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to resign or to be impeached. Witnesses say that Anthony yelled at Omar to resign and accused her of tearing Minnesota apart before security tackled him. The crowd cheered Omar fire back with profanity, and then radio pros take note. She stayed on stage and kept talking for another 25 minutes like nothing happened. Anthony's neighbor described him as a President Trump supporter who dislikes Omar, but claimed that he never expected violence. The man reportedly has Parkinson's disease, spinal injuries from past crash, and heavily is medicated. Omar said that she wasn't hurt and would be medically checked, and later posted that she wouldn't be intimidated. The president weighed in afterwards, calling Omar a fraud and suggesting that the incident may have been staged, saying that he hadn't even watched the video and didn't plan to. So there you go, some stuff going on right there. So I'll tell you what it was that I thought was going down right away. The moment that he ran the stage and just kind of squirted her and nothing was going on, I did not know what it was. My brain was like, what is going on here? But immediately I started thinking about this stuff that I remember people using when I was much younger that was called liquid ass. And I'm not joking as I say that. That people will squirt this on you, and it definitely smells more along the lines of somebody had moved the bowel movements, and that would be like what the odor was. That's what I thought it was at first, and that's where I thought this thing was going, which is not a good thing, but I thought it was interesting on how that would work. So very weird stuff as we are talking, that is for sure. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things. President Trump's interim cybersecurity chief managed to set off alarm bells by uploading sensitive government documents into a public version of ChatGPT, triggering multiple internal security alerts and DHS investigation. The officials at the center of the, acting director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. When Maduhu joined DHS last year, ChatGPT was already blocked for all employees due to security concerns. Maduhu requested and received a special exemption to use it anyways. And according to multiple DHS officials cited by Politico, Maduhu then uploaded documents marked for official use only as a designated for sensitive material not meant for public release. That move tripped automatic systems designed to detect leaks or unauthorized disclosures. Reportedly multiple times in a single week, one official summed it up bluntly. He pushed for access and then misused it. DHS launched an internal investigation into a possible security breach. Though the results haven't been made public, the concern is serious because a public version of ChatGPT allows upload material to potentially be used in response seen by hundreds of millions of users worldwide. We'll call it CISA, pushed back slightly, saying that Maduhu access was authorized, temporary, and limited, and that he last used ChatGPT in mid-July of 2025, not August, as some reports suggest. DHS stressed that default policy still blocks ChatGPT unless a specific exemption is granted, and noted the administration is pursuing AI modernization under the president's executive order, just preferably without uploaded sensitive documents into a digital town square. So what do you think here? I mean, it's an interesting one. I can't say it any other way. I mean, that's for sure. But I think it just gets weird when we start talking about this. Because think about it for a moment. So, this guy uploads this thing. And then now it's in a public forum. And what happens now? Did they go back and say something? I don't know. So take a listen to this real quick. In a TikTok video, a man said that a woman isn't constantly slightly annoyed with a guy, that she has no interest in him whatsoever. Ladies, is this guy wrong? Take a listen to this.
What you have to understand about women is that if they're not constantly slightly annoyed with you, they have no interest in you whatsoever. The reality about women is that they operate through emotion, strong emotion. And when a woman feels, she perceives it to be important, whether it's positive or negative, it means that she cares. What you need to understand is that a woman will be in either high positive or high negative emotion when it comes to you. And either of those are good.
Okay, so there you go. I don't know where some of this stuff is coming from as of late. So what do you think? I mean, I can tell you that's from TikTok because I told you that at the very beginning. But man, does it get weird when we start getting into some of this stuff? I mean, what do you think right there? So I don't know. Let me give you one more before we get into our main story. In a clip here, an ICE agent in Minneapolis tells a citizen, if you raise your voice, I'll erase yours. Not a joke. Take a listen to this one.
I will tell you this, brother. What? You know, I will tell you this. You raise your voice, I raise your voice.
If I raise my voice, you'll erase my...
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious? You said if I raise my voice, you'll erase my voice?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Some of this context stuff, I mean, I don't know. I look at this and I go, I don't even understand the world that we're living in sometimes, but hey, it is very interesting times, no doubt about that, as we are talking. So there you go. Anyways, as we are hanging out here and doing our thing, why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's go ahead and get into our main story right now. Our main story, because that seems like something we should be doing at the moment. Okay, maybe we should be doing it at the moment, and maybe my computer will say, no, I don't want to do this at the moment. I'll do it a moment when I feel like it. Maybe like this.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's go through this because we're going to have to go slow today. Slow today. No, seriously, we're going to have to go like really slow today because I don't even know what's going on anymore. You are aware that this is episode 1284. Just wanting you to know that. That's 1,284 of these things that we've done in the past. So let's get into it. And let's get uncomfortable. And I want you to imagine this for a second. No, and this is going to get awkward, so bear with me. You're sitting in a quiet library, not talking, no phones, no noise, the kind of place that where even clearing your throat feels like a felony. You know what I'm talking about there. And then someone just lets one rip. Not a polite one. Not a maybe what was that, a chair one? I'm talking about a statement. A sound so aggressive, it has options. That wasn't this conversation felt like when someone looked at me dead serious and said, I can tell you're a Republican or a Democrat based on the type of safety you practice. No hesitation, no irony, just confidence when this was said to me. And here's the part that should bother you. They weren't wrong. And let's sit on that one for a second. Because safety, actual safety, was never supposed to be politically an identity test. It was supposed to be about people not getting hurt while trying to get work done. Somewhere along the way, though, safety stopped being about risk and started being about beliefs. And the belief systems always want tribes. And let me get something very clear here. This way we can avoid anyone's blood pressure spiking. This is not about left versus right or right versus left. This is about what happens when safety becomes a personality instead of a practice. And this is what we need to talk about. Because when I hear you say safety language, when I see how you react to uncertainty, when I watch how you talk about workers, I can often predict how you think about the world should work. Not that who you voted for, but what you trust. And that's what scares you. I mean, it should scare you. And here's where it gets even more awkward. Some safety systems are built on this idea. If you just design the perfect process, we can control outcomes. Rules stacked on rules, procedures laminated within procedures, checklists guarding other checklists like they're nesting dolls of compilation. The version of safety doesn't trust people, it trusts structure. And when something goes wrong, we don't ask what made sense at the time. We ask, why didn't you follow the rule? Because rules feel clean, they feel moral, they feel righteous. And righteousness, well, it's addictive, if you haven't realized that yet. And then there's another version of safety that says, work is messy, people adapt, and risk is dynamic. The version is allergic to certainty. It talks about trade-offs, judgments, drift, pressures, and context. It's uncomfortable because it doesn't give you villains. It doesn't give you easy answers. It doesn't give you someone to punish so that you can feel better. If you ask you to sit in ambiguity, and ambiguity makes a lot of people itchy. Not bitchy, but itchy. Now, here's the part where the room gets real quiet. When safety becomes a proxy for political worldview. We stop arguing about risk and we start arguing about values, control versus trust, central authority versus local expertise, uniformity versus adaptation. And instead of saying those words, we hide behind safety jargon. We say best practice, non-negotiable, zero tolerance. This is just the standard. Nope, that's not safety. That's ideology wearing a hard hat. And here's where most uncomfortable truths are of all. A lot of people don't want safer work. They want certainty. They want moral clarity. They want to know who's right and who's wrong. Safety becomes the weapon we use to enforce how the world ought to behave. And that's when safety turns into church. And if you bring a prostitute into church or question the sermon, everyone gets real nervous real fast. And let me poke this bruise a little bit harder here for a moment. If your safety program collapses the moment that someone uses judgment instead of procedure, that's not resilience, that's fragility. If your system only works when everyone behaves perfectly, that's not safety, that's a fantasy. And if I can predict your worldview by how you talk about blame and how you react to deviation or whether you think workers are the problem to fix, then your safety program isn't neutral. It's preaching. Here's what scares me more than politics and safety, the speed at which we label. We don't say, maybe there's another way to see this. We say, oh, that's kind of safety. And once we do that, we stop listening. We stop learning. We stop being curious. And curiosity is the first thing safety kills when it gets too comfortable with itself. So this isn't a call for, depoliticize safety. That's impossible. This is a call to own your assumptions, to ask, What do I trust? Rules more than people? Why does uncertainty make me uncomfortable? Why do I need someone to blame when something goes wrong? Because if you don't ask those questions, you're not practicing safety. You're practicing identity maintenance. And here's the final one. Deeply uncomfortable, of course, though I'll leave you with this. If your version of safety requires everyone to think the same way, speak the same way, and obey the same way, you don't have a safety culture. Shit, you don't even have a culture there. You have a belief system, and the belief systems don't like being questioned. They like being defended loudly in libraries. So, if this story made you feel uncomfortable, I'm glad that it did. And if you felt the urge to label me, dismiss me, decide what side I'm on, even better. Because the moment that safety stops making you uncomfortable is usually the moment that safety stops being honest altogether. That's something I would love for you to think about today.
Oops, what did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Duh.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Ever catch yourself thinking, I could do this on my own? If you're a safety officer with real-world skills, you don't have to wait for permission to build your freedom. On Saturday, January 31st, I'm hosting Safety Consultant 101, a free live workshop. In 2 hours, I'll help you package your expertise into a service clients will pay for and set pricing boundaries so you don't get stuck doing free advice forever. Register now at safetyconsultant101.com. Let's build your freedom.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open-source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
I've been laying fire beside my bed. I've been warming up for what's
Okay, currently 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. No doubt about that. This right here, Seth Beamer, ready to go. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. You might want to give it a little streamer-eamer action. Like I said, Seth Beamer, thanks for letting us play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Always a good time as we get to do some more musica with you, no doubt about that. So there you go. Anyways, let me tell you real quick about some things going on inside of the multiverse. And if anything, this might be the most important thing that I ever get to tell you. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. When you're having a tough moment of a day, it's okay to pause and take care of yourself. If you go to their website, twloha.com, and click on the section that says self-care, there are a listing of suggestions on how you can do it at that moment when you might need some self-care and how you can make plans to keep self-care efforts going into the future. They have a whole thing in a whole section about how to connect with your breath, what you need to do breath techniques wise. Also, how you can make sure that you're meeting your basic needs, such as personal hygiene, water, and, making sure that you're brushing your teeth and taking a shower, things along those lines. Also, body scan meditation, and then use your senses to create a space between yourself and your feelings. Also, call or text a friend and realize that you are worthy, you are enough, and you do belong here. Those should be mantras that you use all the time. How to visualize a place of comfort or even find ways to move if needed. So, twloha.com and click on the section that says self-care. So there you go. Always interesting to talk about this stuff. Let me tell you a couple more things real quick. If you do not know, next week, the Alliance for Central Florida Safety presents Safety Day on the 4th of February. It will be taking place all day at the Rosen Plaza. Yeah, the Rosen Plaza. So if you go there, acfs.org. What this includes is it's a $50 ticket to get in. It includes parking and a lunch buffet and CEUs. So it's a full day starting registration as early as 7:30 or 7 in the morning. The full thing starts off at 8:30. If you want to hang out with the vendors prior to that, you have from 7 o'clock to 8:30 to do that after you register. But it goes all day, covering all kinds of information for $50. Packed day, and it has industry insiders going over all of the information that you should probably be taking a look at. And at the end of the session, at the end of the day, if you want to, they even have a training with the Orange County Fire Rescue System, or Service, better saying, that will show you how to use fire extinguisher training right there. So there you go. Safety Day is the day. February the 4th next week at the Rosen Plaza. All you have to do is go to acfs.org to find out more information. Also, some other people have been asking me about events going on workshop-wise. So I don't have a conference coming up anytime yet. But I do have a little workshop taking place in Santa Fe, New Mexico, March the 31st through April the 1st. And we'll be doing a workshop with Todd Conklin. We'll have people there as Ann Liren, Brett Sutton, and Redonda Voigt. We'll be talking about doing incident investigations using the lenses of different techniques and different training models that are out there on how to take a look at it. So if you want to find out more information, all you have to do is scan the barcode that's on the screen if you're on the visualizer. If you're not, all you have to do then is go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says live events. Would love to see you there. There is a room block and everything taking place. So would love to see you there if you're interested in being. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and move forward and talk about some other things that are going on. But this time I'm going to bring John Smalls in and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Austin. Bill Bradley said, "Ambition is the path to success. Persistence is the vehicle you arrive in." This is such an important thing to learn. Ambition is so important. I know some very talented people who lack ambition. It holds them back in life. They're way more talented than the people around them, but those other people are more ambitious. So they keep being promoted, and these more talented people just stay put. One of the things you can do to stretch your ambitious muscles is to make a list of things that you would do if nobody was going to tell you no. Then focus on one of those things until you get that done, even if you need to work on it for a while. If you make that one goal your solitary focus with any and all spare time, you'll be amazed at how fast it happens. You'll hit this goal way quicker than you think you will. Go ahead, try it.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Radio R Safety Show.
Tensions are rising overseas as world leaders trade sharp words and warnings.
Britain's Prime Minister is in Beijing meeting Chinese leaders, stressing that the United Kingdom must balance security risks with trade and investment ties. An American study is projecting that Russian and Ukrainian casualties could reach 2 million after 4 years of war, underscoring the conflict's steep human cost. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Europe is dealing with diplomatic fallout as Rwanda challenges a scrapped migration pact.
Rwanda has launched an international arbitration case after Britain pulled out of a deal that would have sent asylum seekers to the African nation, a flagship policy of the previous UK government. The new Labour administration in London cancelled the plan, arguing it was unworkable and costly, prompting Kigali to seek compensation. Chris Anderson reporting.
In the United States, the Trump administration is under growing scrutiny as new details emerge about a deadly shooting.
Federal officials have confirmed that 2 immigration officers fired their weapons during the killing of Alex Preddy, a U.S. citizen shot during an encounter with Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis. A Department of Homeland Security notice to Congress said investigators are still working to determine whose bullet struck Preddy, while body camera footage remains under review. Lawrence Keller reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The nation's political and legal institutions are also focused on the future of U.S. monetary policy.
At its first policy meeting of the year, the Federal Reserve has held its benchmark interest rate steady after 3 cuts last year, signaling a pause while officials assess the economy. The decision comes as the Justice Department investigates Fed Chair Jerome Powell over a building renovation project, an inquiry he has described as a pretext to weaken the central bank's autonomy. Kyle Norris reporting.
Amazon, one of America's biggest tech giants, is cutting deeply into its workforce.
Amazon is laying off about 16,000 employees in what is its second major round of job cuts in 2 months, targeting roles across hardware, cloud services, and corporate teams. Company leaders say the reductions are meant to streamline operations and free up resources. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The administration's hard line on Venezuela is under the spotlight as Congress presses Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Rubio has told lawmakers the United States is prepared to take new military action against Venezuela if conditions there deteriorate further, even as tensions remain high, following the abduction of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. He defended the administration's sanctions and security measures. Liam White reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, yes, the Rated Safety Show. The Rated Safety Show, as they do say on there. Okay, so let's continue talking about some things that happened back on this date, because that would seem like the thing that we would be doing right now. Back in 1959, Walt Disney releases Sleeping Beauty. That's 1959, seriously, as we are talking. Also, back in 1964, NBC purchases AFL 5-year TV rights for $36 million. Also, in 1984, President Reagan formally announces that he will seek a second term. And let's see, back in 1996, the 23rd American Music Award, Garth Brooks wins. So there you go. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. Take a listen to this one. Apple CEO Tim Cook weighed in on Donald Trump's immigration crackdown on Minneapolis, which has led to further national outrage following federal agents killing Alex Priddy. In a memo to employees per Bloomberg, Cook said that it's time for a de-escalation. I believe America is the strongest when we live up to our highest ideas or ideals, when we treat everyone with dignity and respect, no matter who they are or where they come from, and even we embrace our shared humanity. This is something that Apple has always advocated for. I had a good conversation with the president this week and shared my views, and I appreciate his openness to engaging on issues of that matter. So there you go. Also, in some other news, dozens of names have been added to the mounting death toll of January the 23rd to the 26th winter storms and blasts of polar air behind it. Even as many Americans embrace for another possible storm, at least 62 deaths have been reported across the nation, through the evening of January the 27th. Authorities are still investigating these cases and others. So there you go. In some other news, let's get into this real quick. A majority of American voters believe that Minnesota nurse Alex Priddy was murdered by Donald Trump's Border Patrol, and a damning poll suggests the 37-year-old died as he was shot around 10 times on Saturday, according to the Daily Mail and JL Partners poll conducted over 1,000 American voters on Monday. 54% believe that the federal law enforcement murdered Priddy. The margin of error is 3.1%, but more 1 in 5 Republicans, 22%, said that Priddy's killing constituted murder. Just 21% of all respondents indicated that the shooting and the killing of the nurse was justified. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. And then last but not least, Federal Reserve held its key interest rate steady after January's meeting, just FYI there, with Chair Jerome Powell striking a more optimistic tone on the U.S. labor market after concerns prompted 3 rate cuts last year. The move leaves the federal funds rate, which serves the benchmark to interest rates across the country, unchanged at a range of 3.5 to 3.75. It was the Fed's first meeting since Powell confirmed the DOJ investigation into the testimonies before Congress regarding ongoing renovation at the Feds. So there you go. Anyways, that's it. That's going to sum up our time together. Thanks for hanging out out with me on this lovely Thursday. Always a good time when you and I get to hang out. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. That would be great. If you don't want to go over there, you can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. If I can't leave you with some words of wisdoms, children must be taught how to think, not what to think. So keep that in mind. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion. The book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater. Zero harm turned into optics. and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.